kul för dig. Yes. Hi everyone and welcome back to this 101 Drums event. Let's just have a little presentation just to see who's sitting here. Should we start there?
Yes, Mattias from Nestor.
Bengan from NSL.
Haugland from Asia. No, Europe.
Europe.
Oh, really?
Europe. You're the ones who played Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, great. My name is Erik.
My name is Martin.
Jonas Källsbäck from Nightlight Orchestra and Gathering of Kings.
Right. So, just so we know a little bit of our history with 101 Drums. Bengan, could you just tell us about your history with 101 Drums?
I will try. Yeah. I got a call from Ola Bengtsson one day if I was interested in this 101 Drums. And I haven't heard about 101 at that day. So Tobias brought a kit. And I tried it and I got in love with the toms the first minute I played them. And then he told me about this Supranolic snare drum. I tried that and I still keep it.
Yeah.
So it was a good start. I love the tone from them and I love the low end and the nice high crisp in it.
Yeah.
So it's in the studio to stay.
Yeah. And you've had this kit for
A couple of years.
Yeah. And it's a kit that
It's the go-to kit for most of the recordings in the studio.
Yeah. And I can just imagine that everyone loves it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Sometimes they bring their own kits, like they have a too expensive sonore kit or something,
Yeah.
but they can't tune it, and I give them this kit instead and tune it, and they love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. So, Mattias.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you like to hear in your live mix when you're on stage?
In my in-ears
Yes,
or what?
you use in-ears and not like a wedge.
No, I'm using in-ears.
Yeah.
Sound and communication in-ears.
Yeah.
The best one. I like kick, of course, and then a little bit snare, and then a little bit of everything else on stage. Like
Kick and snare and just the rest of the band.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's working really well.
Yeah. Is that the same kind of mix that you use when you record as well? Or what do you like? What do you want to hear anything different in
I
the
take
studio?
a little bit of the overhead mic as well, because getting a little more ambience on stage.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get a little feeling for the audience, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get distance from the audience. You get a little bit live feeling as well.
Yeah. And you said before that the sound engineers on stage, they really like your snare drum.
Because it's tunes low, tunes high, tunes in between, and sounds great in every tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Ian,
Yes, sir.
what do you like about 101 Drums?
Well, they're beautiful. That's about it. They sound great. I mean, I was approached by Ola and Paul from 101 Drums years back. I can't even remember how many years now, but on the other hand, I'm very old and my memory is fading. But it was a couple of years ago, and they just handed me one of the Black Diamonds, and let me try it. I just tried it out, and I immediately just fell in love with it. It's so durable. It's you put on a new drum head and you tune it up, and it stays tuned for forever. It's like you get it factory tuned, and it stays like that until it's over with. But for all the time that I had my snares, it's been very precise and very kept the tuning very accurately, and again the sound guy he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves the one-on-one snares, and yeah, that's what I like, the durability and it's you can trust it more than you can trust your best friend.
That's saying something.
And it keeps quiet.
It keeps quiet.
Yeah, it's almost like no, I shouldn't say that. Yeah.
And on your snare, you have, because we can see here on your snare, you have the Nestor logo on your snare.
Why?
Because I can. Yeah. Of course.
Of course. And you got on your snare, you got the Europe logo.
Yeah, that's well the Europe E.
Yeah, the E.
The E.
Yeah.
Right.
Isha.
Yes.
And you play Ifrika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's they one fixed that for me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but it looks great.
Yeah.
And it sounds great, and so.
Yeah, because one of the things that I like when I talk to Will about making my snare drums, I have my custom snare drum here, and this is really cool because this is actually from a painting that my wife painted, and it was the only painting that she painted while she was pregnant with our daughter, and for me this is a very, very special snare drum, and it also Ola also on the badge. We can show you later, but here it's actually a footprint of my daughter's right foot.
Very small foot.
Very small foot. She was very small. She wasn't old.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
great.
and that's one of the things that I really like about one-on-one drums. That if you have any requests, then Ola can probably make it without any problems. And because when I contacted him, he was like, "Yeah, sure, let's look at it." And he was like, "Yeah, it's okay, fair price for you. All right, good, great." Yeah. So I really like it, and it sounds fantastic as well. That's the main part, but it's also when you look at it when up on stage or in the studio, it's always great to have family.
Seems like nothing is impossible for them
Yeah.
to manufacture and deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I'm amazed by the design and the sound.
Yeah. Jonas, you have a pretty unique looking snare drum.
Yes, it's. I think it's called Sweden Ukraine. I guess it's because it's blue and yellow. And I think I had a request that I should get some tension lugs. Is it the name for it? I think because of the tuning. But as Ian said, it's like they keep the tuning very well, so I never had a problem with it. It's actually the same head as when I got it. So
Yeah. You've been using the same batter head for a very long time.
Yeah. One recording with Gathering of Kings, one tour with Night Flight, and one recording with Night Flight as well.
And it's the same snare head, and the snare always sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a soft player.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, but somehow it works.
Yeah, it works. It works. Yeah. Everyone sitting here is very involved with the music scene, and I'm just curious because I want to ask you all about the difference between the music scene today and how it used to be. Could anyone of you just tell us about what you can see is the big difference from? Yeah.
Well, it's the biggest difference, I guess, for me or for Europe. I mean, we come from an era when you sold records, and that was kind of a proof. You sold a lot of records, and you went high on a chart. And you don't do that anymore. I mean, it's the record business is totally dead. So it's all about playing live now, and I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing, because that's why we all started playing in the first place to be out there and play live. But it's that's where you make your living from touring, not from selling records as it was in the 80s. I think that's probably one of the absolutely biggest differences.
Yeah. Martin, can you share about some differences about the music scene, how it was before and how it is today?
Yeah, sure. Back in the days, you always did like live gigs and you could tour a lot. With me as I always been a freelancer, so I never really got in a band. And I did gigs with a lot of different artists, and there were always a live scene available. And then it kind of disappeared. And for me as a freelancer, I had to do go into online work and do a lot of teaching and vary my work situation a lot. And now I can see that there is really a turnaround happening, and people are getting out and playing more live, and it feels like it's coming back somehow. And that's a big difference that I've been exposed to.
Yeah, because I guess that we all feel that in order to make a living playing drums, you have to get out and play more, really.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing old posters of old bands touring in Sweden, and they always played all the small venues, like all the dance band, all the dance bands touring and playing at the Folkets Park and all those kinds of venues, and it was always in the small cities. And then something happened, and it was almost like when big artists came to Sweden. They always played all the major cities, and then they went back on tour, to tour in other countries. But now I feel like they're playing not in the three biggest cities in Sweden anymore. They actually tour the whole country now. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that the way that the music scene is different now is that you have to play more in order to make the money. And in order to do that, you have to go to all the small cities as well. And that can surely take a toll on everyone who has been doing this for a long time. But it's nice for everyone to see that all the bands can come to their city, not depending on how big the city is. But it's also a struggle for, especially I assume that all the bands that gets older, they don't really have quite the stamina to do that as much now as when they were younger.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm pushing 60s now, and I have to lay down after a show and sleep for a couple of hours before I can move on to the shower and then back to
the after party,
tour.
right?
The after party, yeah. Well, the after parties are definitely not what they used to be. There used to be huge amounts of alcohol and just stupidities. These days, it's just a bottle of water and good night.
Not even alcohol nowadays.
Not even alcohol.
Not
no.
even alcohol.
Change diapers and go to bed.
Yeah. on small babies or on yourself?
On the other band members. We take turns.
Yeah. Grown men do stuff together. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
You wouldn't want to know how it is to change diapers on John Norum, after he's been drinking beer all night on stage. Man, it's a mess.
Yeah, that's sure is a mess. That sure is a mess. Speaking of drinking a lot of beer and changing diapers on each other's, yeah. Do you guys have any good or amusing studio or live anecdotes from the golden years that you can share, that you're allowed to share?
That's harder.
That's harder. Yeah. Could you share some that you aren't supposed to share? Bengan?
No.
No.
I have one that I can share.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have already shared it with the record company executives at Sony Records in Los Angeles. We were recording a song for, well, the album Princess of Paradise in Los Angeles, and I was struggling with the song and got frustrated, and finally I managed to finish the drum take, and everything was cool. And the producer was like, "Yeah, great, come on down." And just as he said that, the record company people came into the studio, and just, you know, and I didn't see them coming into the studio. And at the same time, I pulled my pants down and took my drumsticks and stuck them up my ass, and put my ass up to the window, you know, the screen between the control room and the studio. So the first thing that the record executives saw was a hairy ass with a pair of beaten sticks sticking out.
Did you get splinters?
On the way out, yeah.
And John Norum had to pick those, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we swap change services.
Yeah.
That's so that's one.
Yeah.
You're still in the band?
Yeah.
That's great. So, getting back to the drums, because we are here to, you know, to show off the drums, talk about the drums, let everyone see and hear the drums. What can you tell us about recording with these drums that we haven't already heard today? Has anyone something to say?
I have one.
Yeah.
I've discovered that the drum is extremely tonally straight, so it records extremely well, and it's not too loud, and you know, it cracks up very early in the velocity curve, and I think that's a really good thing, and I haven't seen that in another snare drum actually, and I have plenty of those, almost as many as Bengan has, but mine was made tailored with a XLR port for internal triggering, so I think the drum really has everything I need. It's an incredibly well built instrument.
Yeah. That's great to hear. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
Bye.
Sayonara.